I'm going to show you how you can increase the size of your garden in the deep mulch. Now, even though it's really hot, how are we going to increase the size of our garden? We're going to root some suckers, and we're also going to root some sweet potatoes, and we're going to see what kind of harvest we can get out of both of those. We've talked a lot about trellising and keeping your tomatoes pruned up. We got a real nice sucker right here. I'm going to clip that off, and we're going to put that in water. I'm also going to take these two bottom leaves off. Just going to clip those off. This entire stem has bumps on it that will root, and it'll make a clone of this plant. Just put that in the water. Free food. We made it to the 3rd of July. Do we have roots? I was pretty confident. Yeah, we got roots. Now, as we talked before, it's the little white bumps. It's not the hairs that make the roots. So I think these suckers are going to be ready to go in the ground tomorrow. First, I think we'll go ahead and plant these today. Then we'll follow along. Then we're going to go ahead and see which one did better. The slips we planted earlier or these vines that we clipped off and rooted. It's going to be a nice little challenge. Now, I've got a spot picked out for them. Come on, let's see what we got. Over here in the newest part of the garden, I went ahead and planted some sweet potatoes. I thought these were goners. The leaves just all went away. Kind of ignored this area, but these are coming on pretty good. This volunteer butternut squash has a little bit of grass growing up in it. Our asparagus, they're doing okay. We're just gonna let them do whatever they do this year. Hopefully we'll get a crop next year. But over here on this mulch pile, let's go ahead and put these sweet potatoes in. That'll give our asparagus a dividing line between these sweet potatoes and the new ones. And that way we can see which harvest comes out better. I'm just gonna level this out. We're gonna put a line of sweet potatoes right here, and we'll see what we get. See how nice those wood chips are breaking down? Yeah, I mixed them up, so I'm not sure which ones are the orange ones and which ones are the purple ones. So this is gonna be interesting. Now, if we were really doing a scientific experiment, we would have all the soil, all the mulch exactly the same. But I have what I have. This will give us a pretty good representation. The entire stem will root. Now, this is the newest part of the garden, and this soil is clay underneath here. And this is what the original soil looked like when we started the original garden over there. Kind of that orange brown clay. But we've got life in here, and I'm just going to set that down in the little hole I dug. Bury up those roots. Before we mulch back, I am going to put down castor oil. Those little voles did eat my onions. We'll kind of stand them up as we add the mulch. Like we talked about, you might lose some leaves. It's just fine, but they're pretty resilient. That clay is a little softer than I thought it was going to be. A lot easier digging. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some castor oil down in here pretty heavy, especially up here on this end. This is all organic and it will break down, so it works just like the mulch. But those little voles definitely don't like it very much. Saved our harvest last year. I'm going to pull some mulch in. And I'm going to bury these kind of deep. If you cover up some leaves, that's okay. And there you go. That's how I plant sweet potatoes. Now that we got those in, let's go ahead and start planting some of these companions. 4th of July, there's an awful lot of them to get in one day. I think we got a spot right here. I'm going to put the tomatoes on this trellis. Let's go ahead and get some companions in. Whether we're direct sowing seeds or planting out of a container, you want to dig down in bare soil. And then you just want to dig deep enough to accommodate whatever you're planting. on our basil, the entire stem will root. I'm not going to plant this one too deep. And once we set it for a couple days, then I'll go ahead and start pruning this. We've got a nice little fork right there. We take these down a little bit, this will really bush out. So you snug that back in, and then this is big enough, we want to mulch heavy back around it. Since I'm going to go ahead and put 2 tomatoes here, let's put this other basil right here. With as much rain as we've had, look at that soil. That is just damp, that is wonderful. And this is one of the tops that we pinched off of one of those original plants. You can do this too. We got free basil. And mulch in heavy around here. Even as moist as the ground is, as hot as it is, it's a good idea to give them a little drink. Let's go take a look at these sweet potatoes we just put in. Planted these a couple hours ago. And as wet as that was, and making those roots in the greenhouse, you can see that they've already started to wilt back. So let's just give them a little water. It'll just help them out a little bit. But don't worry if they start looking puny. They're just transplanted. Like I said, they are very resilient. We've done this quite a few times, and the advice I got from that old farmer, they're gonna kick in and they're gonna grow like mad. A little container tomatoes producing well. We got beans. I'm telling you, this is why we do it, because it tastes great. This is gonna be a short one today. I've got a handle on some hay. I was gonna go help them put it up. That gives me a couple bales. Now you were with me the other day when we decided to go ahead and put some beans in here where the peas were. They're up already. So you still have time to get your beans in the ground. Over the next couple days, we will go over more things you can direct sow in July and still have a harvest. But I'm gonna have a little different spin on it than most gardeners, because I'm gonna look towards the winter. We're gonna talk about cold frames, setting up your area. Hope you join me for that. I wanna take a look at these grapes. And a funny thing happened on the way to the grapes. This is our Cherokee, look at that. This is our Cherokee purple that we've left all the suckers on. With that rain that we've had just recently, and this is another reason we take them at blush, it's starting to split. If we left this out here to go full on vine ripe, we'd probably lose it. That's a beautiful tomato. Check this out. We've got some little clusters and they're starting to ripen. And what's the one thing I say you always need to bring in the garden in the summer? Clippers. I don't have a pair of clippers, so I'm just gonna try this. Oh my goodness. That's the first grape I've ever grown. That is delicious. You can do this too. Tomorrow we'll get those suckers in the ground, then we're gonna start trellising them. Then we'll start keeping track of what kind of production they make. We're still gonna get tomatoes off of them before the first frost, I can guarantee you that. You can do this too. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.